Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, where coins aren't just change, they're hidden treasures. If you've ever wondered whether that quarter in your pocket could be worth more than 25 cents, you're going to love today's video. Because we're diving into one of the most unexpected stories in modern coin collecting, the 2013 Washington State quarter dollar. That's right, a coin that many people overlook every day might actually be worth a small fortune. This episode is especially for the curious collector, the history buff, or even someone who just wants to know if that coin in their drawer could change their life. So sit back, grab your coin jar, and let's go hunting for one of the most surprising finds in U.S. mint history. Let's start with a little background. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched a major new coin program, the 50 State Quarters series. It was one of the most popular coin programs ever, celebrating each of the 50 states with unique reverse designs. These quarters were released over the course of a decade, and they reignited interest in collecting U.S. coins. People started saving quarters again, building collections, and searching for rare varieties. Then in 2010, the program evolved into something even more exciting, the America the Beautiful series. These quarters featured beautiful designs celebrating national parks and historic sites from each state and territory. In 2013, Washington State was honored with a stunning design featuring Mount Rushmore, viewed from the perspective of workers carving the monument, giving a behind-the-scenes glimpse at one of America's most iconic landmarks. The obverse still features the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932. But the reverse, now this is where the magic happens. The detail, the artistry, and the powerful symbolism of the 2013 Mount Rushmore design made it a standout among all the quarters released that year. But here's where things start to get really interesting. Not all 2013 quarters are created equal. While millions were produced across multiple U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, there are rare varieties and errors that make some of these coins far more valuable than their face value. That tiny mint mark, a P, D, or S under the word, "In God We Trust," can tell you where your quarter was made. But it's what happened during the minting process that makes the real difference. Collectors have reported a number of error coins from the 2013 quarter series. These include double dies, off-center strikes, die chips, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a quarter that was mistakenly struck using a blank meant for a different coin. These minting errors are incredibly rare and can turn a simple pocket quarter into a jaw-dropping collectible point. One of the most famous and valuable types is the double die reverse, where the design on the back of the coin appears slightly doubled, especially around the lettering or details in the artwork. Another sought-after feature is a strong die clash, where parts of the obverse design appear faintly on the reverse, or vice versa, due to the dies striking each other without a coin in between. Even more fascinating are the proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. These are mirror-like coins made with special dies and intended for collectors. While most are kept in sets, every now and then, one slips into circulation, or turns up in perfect condition, untouched by time. And when these proof quarters are discovered in perfect, uncirculated condition, their value can soar. But condition alone isn't everything. It's the combination of rarity, condition, and uniqueness that makes all the difference. A regular 2013 quarter with some wear and tear? Probably worth 25 cents. But a 2013 quarter with a clear mint error, strong doubling, or pristine condition graded as MS 67 or higher? That's a whole different story. Imagine holding a coin that's been sitting in a collection, or even in someone's pocket change, for years, only to find out that it's a one-in-a-million minting mistake. The kind of coin that collectors dream of. The kind that shows up at major auctions. The kind that's rare enough to become a headline in coin collecting circles. And here's the thing, you don't need to be a professional to spot one. All you need is a sharp eye, a magnifying glass, and a little patience. Start by checking the mint mark. Look for any signs of doubling in the design. Examine the edges for clean strikes or errors. If the quarter looks unusual or incredibly crisp and shiny, it might be time to get it graded. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm a coin's authenticity, detect rare errors, and assign it an official grade. This is the key to unlocking the coin's true market value, and in the case of the 2013 Washington quarter, that value can be shocking. And now, here comes the moment you've all been waiting for. There was one particular 2013 Washington state quarter, struck with a remarkable minting error and preserved in perfect, uncirculated condition. After being authenticated and graded at a top-tier level, this one simple coin, originally worth just 25 cents, was valued and sold for an unbelievable $77,000. Yes. A quarter. Worth $77,000. That's the kind of discovery that turns a casual hobby into a thrilling treasure hunt. That's why collectors comb through bank rolls, estate sales, and coin jars, because the next legendary coin could be sitting in your hand right now. So don't ignore the quarters in your pocket. Take a closer look. That 2013 Washington quarter might be more than just spare change, it might be a fortune hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into a coin that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, your change jar, or maybe even in your car's cup holder. It's a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought, but for the lucky few who held onto it, the story is very different. We're talking about the 2014 Washington quarter. And let me tell you, this is not just another quarter. In the world of numismatics, coin collecting, this coin is beginning to make serious waves. Now you may be thinking, what's so special about a coin from just a few years ago? But that's exactly where the magic lies. Sometimes, the most valuable treasures aren't ancient. Sometimes, they're modern, hidden in plain sight, and worth far more than anyone expects. Let's rewind for a moment and understand what makes the Washington Quarter series so iconic. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Since then, it's become one of the most widely recognized and collected coins in U.S. history. But in the early 2000s, the U.S. Mint added a twist to the classic design, the 50-state quarters program, followed by the America the Beautiful series. The America the Beautiful quarters ran from 2010 to 2021, and each one featured a breathtaking design representing a national park or landmark from each state or U.S. territory. In 2014, Washington State's moment arrived again, this time with a stunning design that paid tribute to the majestic Mount Rainier National Park. The reverse of the 2014 quarter features a spectacular depiction of Mount Rainier towering over a glacial river, surrounded by evergreens. It's bold. It's detailed. And for collectors, it's become a design to watch. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While millions of these coins were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, not all of them are created equal. The mint mark, a tiny letter just above the word quarter on the obverse, tells you where the coin was made. P is for Philadelphia. D for Denver. S for San Francisco, but hidden among these coins are rare and unusual examples. Some have mint errors, tiny mistakes made during production that are now worth big bucks. Others are in pristine, uncirculated condition, making them extremely desirable to collectors. So what should you be looking for in a 2014 Washington State quarter? Let's start with error coins. These include double dies, where parts of the image or lettering appear doubled due to misalignment during striking. Off-center strikes, when the coin wasn't properly centered during minting, creating a skewed image. Die cracks and cuds, where parts of the coin show raised metal due to damage on the die. Wrong planchet errors, where the quarter was struck on a blank intended for another coin, like a nickel or dime. These errors can make an ordinary coin extraordinarily valuable, especially when combined with mint state condition, meaning no wear, perfect shine, and sharp detail. And don't forget the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. These are mirror-finished beauties originally made for collectors, but occasionally one finds its way into general circulation, or is preserved so well it stuns experts when it resurfaces. Grading plays a huge role here. Coins are evaluated on a scale from 1 to 70, with anything over MS 65 considered high grade. If your quarter is clean, scratch-free, shiny, and has full strike detail, you could be holding something worth far more than just 25 cents. Let's put it this way, a 2014 quarter that's just nice might be worth its face value. But a 2014 Washington quarter with a rare error, in perfect mint state condition, with a strong strike and full luster? That's what collectors dream of. That's what makes headlines. Now, it's not just about finding the right coin, it's about getting it properly authenticated and graded. Services like PCGS and NGC are your best bet to confirm your coin's condition and identity. Once certified, your coin's value could go from just change to change your life. And believe me, it's happened before. In one truly remarkable case, a collector came across a 2014 Washington quarter that looked unusually sharp, flawless, in fact. Upon expert examination, it was confirmed to have an extremely rare error and graded in near-perfect mint state. When it hit the auction block, seasoned collectors knew they were looking at something special, and the final price, brace yourself, that single 2014 Washington State quarter, with the right mint mark, the right error, and in exceptional condition, was valued and sold for an astonishing $97,000. Yes, you heard that right. $97,000. For a single quarter that could have just as easily bought a gumball, a soda, or sat forgotten under a couch cushion. This is why coin collecting never gets old. Because every coin has a story. And some have stories worth more than you can imagine. So before you spend your quarters without a second thought, take a moment to look closely. Check the date. Look at the design. Spot the mint mark. You never know what rare piece of American history might be in your hand. Today, we're focusing on a coin you've definitely seen before, but may never have looked at closely. A coin so common that it's probably passed through your hands without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those everyday quarters could be worth more than most cars? That's right. Get ready, because we're diving into the mystery, history, and potential fortune of the 2015 Washington State quarter dollar. Now, we're not just talking about any quarter. We're talking about a very specific piece of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a coin that was minted to celebrate one of Washington State's most breathtaking locations, Saratoga National Historical Park. That's right, in 2015, the United States Mint honored this Revolutionary War site, creating a design that wasn't just patriotic, but quietly became one of the most intriguing releases in the entire quarter series. Let's start with the basics. On the obverse, or front, of the coin, we still have the iconic profile of George Washington, bold and timeless. This portrait has remained mostly unchanged since it was introduced in 1932. But flip it over, and you'll find something different. The reverse of the 2015 Washington quarter features a powerful image, British General John Burgoyne surrendering his sword to American General Horatio Gates. A moment that changed the course of American history, captured forever on the back of a 25-cent coin. Sounds historic, right? But here's what makes this coin fascinating beyond the story it tells. Not every quarter minted in 2015 was struck the same way. Coins were produced at 3 major mints: Philadelphia, P mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. While most quarters made it into circulation and picked up the usual wear and tear, a few coins stood out for very special reasons. We're talking about rare errors, unexpected variations, and high-grade conditions that make these coins highly valuable to collectors. And among the millions of coins struck, only a handful possess the rare characteristics that send their value skyrocketing. Let's break it down. First, you need to know about mint marks. Look just to the right of Washington's ponytail, near the bottom of the obverse. That little letter, P, D, or S, tells you where the coin came from. While that might not seem important at first, for collectors, the mint mark can completely change a coin's story. San Francisco minted quarters, for example, are often proof coins. These are specially made for collectors using polished dies, and they have a mirror-like finish. Most never enter circulation, but every now and then, one slips through, ending up in the wild and potentially overlooked for years. Then, there are the error coins. These include coins with double die strikes, where parts of the design, especially the text, appear doubled. Or off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned. Or even coins struck on the wrong planchet, a blank meant for another denomination entirely. Each of these types of errors is incredibly rare. And the rarer the error, the more collectors are willing to pay for it. But that's not the only way a 2015 Washington quarter becomes valuable. Condition is key. Coins that are in mint state, untouched by circulation, with no scratches, dings, or discoloration, are far more desirable. These coins are graded using the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A grade of MS 65 and above puts your coin in elite territory. MS 68 or MS 69. Now you're in ultra-rare, ultra-valuable territory, and guess what? Coins like this have been found that in fact, collectors often buy entire rolls of quarters from the bank just to search for these high-grade, mint-condition gems. It's like modern-day treasure hunting. Every coin holds a possibility, and every year has its legends. The 2015 quarter has become one of those legends. Some sharp-eyed collectors discovered subtle differences and errors in quarters from this year that make them stand out in the crowd. And in a few rare cases, coins from this exact mintage, 2015 Washington quarters with mint marks, have shocked the coin world by showing up in pristine, nearly perfect condition. These coins are so rare, so flawlessly struck, and so historically significant, that when the right one appears on the auction floor, bidders go wild. Now, you might be asking, could one of these coins really be worth that much? Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One extraordinary example of the 2015 Washington State quarter dollar, with a rare mint error and preserved in mint state condition, professionally graded and authenticated, was sold at auction for an eye-popping $90,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $90,000. For a single quarter. That's not a typo. That's a real number, paid by a real collector, for a real coin that might have once sat in someone's loose change drawer. This is why we say, never underestimate the power of pocket change. So go ahead, check your quarters. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, the edges, and the condition. You never know when a tiny metal disc in your hand might be worth more than a luxury vacation, a new car, or even a house down payment. We're talking about the 2016 Washington State quarter dollar, a coin that millions of people used in everyday transactions, never realizing that just one of them could be worth a life-changing amount of money. This isn't a legend or a myth. This is a real coin, with real value, hiding in plain sight. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the fascinating world behind this modern-day treasure. To understand what makes the 2016 quarter so special, we need to go back a little. The classic Washington quarter was first minted in 1932. It featured the bust of George Washington on the front, and for decades, the back simply showed the iconic eagle design. But in 1999, everything changed. The U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, celebrating each state with its own unique design. And by 2010, that program evolved into the America the Beautiful Quarter series, showcasing national parks and historic sites across the country. Each year, 5 new designs were released, each one a tribute to a different location, filled with rich history and local pride. In 2016, one of those quarters celebrated none other than Washington State, with a design featuring the breathtaking Olympic National Park. Now, let's pause there. Because this design is nothing short of stunning. The reverse of the coin shows a majestic Roosevelt elk standing proudly in a lush, green forest. In the background, the snow-capped Mount Olympus rising tall and silent. It's nature. It's history. It's artistry, all captured on a piece of metal no bigger than a cookie. And on the front, the timeless profile of George Washington, looking as bold and presidential as ever. But here's where things get really interesting. Just like every quarter minted in this series, the 2016 Washington State quarter was struck at multiple mints across the country: Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. That little mint mark tells you where your coin came from. But what it doesn't tell you is how valuable that coin might be, because not every quarter is equal. A few very special 2016 Washington quarters, minted with rare errors, or preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition, have become incredibly valuable to collectors. And we're not talking a few extra bucks. We're talking about the kind of money that makes your heart skip a beat. So let's break it down. What should you be looking for? First, mint errors. These are mistakes that happen during the minting process, and they come in all kinds of wild and surprising forms. Double die errors, where the images or letters appear slightly doubled off center strikes, where the entire design is pushed too far to one side. Die cracks and cuds, where the coin shows raised lines or blobs of metal due to a damaged die, and then there are the wrong planchet errors, where the coin is struck on the wrong metal blank altogether. These types of errors are extremely rare, and collectors love them. Then, there's condition. The term to remember here is mint state, or MS. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 65 or higher is considered high grade, but MS 68 or above? That's where things get elite. Now imagine this: a 2016 Washington quarter, struck perfectly with a flawless surface, deep luster, and no signs of wear. That alone could make your coin valuable. But if it also has a mint error, like a doubling or off-center strike? That's the jackpot that in fact, collectors today are paying attention to every detail. From how sharp the strike is, to whether the lettering is fully legible, to the tiniest defects. And every now and then, a coin surfaces that checks all the boxes. A coin that goes from change to treasure, and yes, it's already happened with the 2016 Washington State quarter. There was one particular coin, struck at one of the U.S. mints with a very rare die error and preserved in stunning condition. It had all the right features: the correct mint mark, a sharp strike, no scratches, no blemishes, and most importantly, a recognized and certified minting mistake that made it one of a kind. The coin was sent into a top grading service, either PCGS or NGC, and came back with a grade most collectors only dream of. When it hit the auction scene, dealers and collectors knew this wasn't just another quarter. This was a modern American rarity, and when the bidding ended, the final sale price wasn't just impressive. It was absolutely jaw-dropping. That one little quarter, yes, a regular-looking 2016 Washington quarter, was sold for a staggering $94,000. Let that sink in. $94,000. For one coin. One quarter. One small piece of metal with a story, a mistake, and a little bit of history baked into it. Now, here's the best part: this coin wasn't pulled from a vault. It wasn't in a museum. It wasn't locked away in some millionaire's safe. It was discovered because someone paid attention. Someone looked closely. Someone didn't assume that just because it said 25 cents, it was only worth that much. That's the world of coin collecting. That's why people search rolls, scan pocket change, and dig through jars and drawers. Because sometimes, the biggest discoveries are right under our noses. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your 2016 quarters. Look for the Washington State design with the Roosevelt elk. Find that mint mark. Use a magnifier. Compare it online. And if it looks special, don't spend it, get it graded. Get it protected. And who knows, you might just be holding your very own $94,000 quarter. Today, we're zeroing in on a quarter that you might think is just another piece of pocket change. But what if I told you that this particular coin could be hiding a fortune right under your nose? We're talking about the 2017 Washington State quarter dollar, a coin minted to celebrate one of America's most iconic and beautiful states. While it might look like a typical 25-cent piece, the story behind this coin, and its value, is anything but ordinary. Let's start by setting the scene. The United States Mint began the America the Beautiful Quarters program back in 2010, and for several years, they've been releasing quarters honoring national parks and historic sites from each state. In 2017, the spotlight was on Mount Rainier National Park in Washington state. This breathtaking location is known for its towering volcano, lush forests, and stunning natural scenery, and the mint captured that beauty perfectly on this quarter. On the reverse side, you'll find a detailed image of Mount Rainier itself, framed by evergreen trees and a soaring bald eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. The front, of course, features George Washington's familiar profile, a timeless American icon. At first glance, this quarter seems like just another coin in circulation. Millions were minted across the 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. But what many people don't realize is that mint marks and coin condition can make a world of difference when it comes to a coin's rarity and value. Now, what exactly makes the 2017 Washington State quarter special? First, consider the mint mark. If you look closely, the letter near George Washington's ponytail tells you where the coin was minted. While most quarters from this year were released without incident, there have been reports of certain rare mint errors and variations that collectors prize highly. One of the most exciting factors for collectors is when a coin has a minting error. These can range from doubled dies, misaligned strikes, missing details, or even unusual planchets. For the 2017 Washington quarter, some of these errors are so subtle that they're easy to miss but can dramatically boost a coin's value, but rarity alone isn't the whole story. Condition plays a huge role. Coins in uncirculated, mint state condition, especially those graded highly by professional services, can command prices many times their face value. Coins graded MS 65 or higher are considered prime examples, and those that reach the pinnacle of MS 68 or MS 69 become prized collector's items. Now imagine a 2017 Washington quarter from the San Francisco Mint, bearing a rare mint error, and preserved in pristine condition. It's like striking gold in the world of coin collecting. Over the past few years, some of these extraordinary coins have surfaced and stunned the coin community. Dealers and collectors alike have competed fiercely for these rare finds, driving prices upward and creating new legends. So, how much could one of these rare 2017 Washington State quarters be worth? Here's the kicker. When an ultra-rare, mint state, error coin from this series was put up for auction, the winning bid soared to an astonishing $64,000. Yes, that's right, $64,000 for a single quarter. It's a striking reminder that in the world of coins, sometimes the smallest items hold the biggest surprises. So, the next time you're sorting through your change, don't just toss out that Washington State quarter from 2017. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a tiny piece of history, and a potential treasure worth thousands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2017 Washington State quarter, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more incredible coin stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to discover hidden value in your pockets. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.